thought to myself, like my rational brain was like, well, this was our miscarriage, and now that I've fixed things, everything's gonna be fine. And I got pregnant again later that winter. I think I tried not to connect as deeply with that baby, and I did my best to kind of stay a little bit detached. But even so, I always had dreams about a little girl with rose petals falling around her and that kind of thing. And then I again found myself, it was right at 8 weeks, right at the 8-week mark, found myself in the hospital. We were actually on vacation. We were visiting my parents in Florida, and so I was in a totally different hospital and far away. And for some reason, when we were there, they had a rule where when it was time for me to go get an ultrasound, they had a rule that they said no family could come in, which apparently included my husband, and they wouldn't let him in the ultrasound room. And I said, well, he's the baby's dad, like, can he come? He is family, and they wouldn't let him in. So they took me away on the wheelie thing and wheeled me to the ultrasound room. And I will never forget this woman who was the tech, and it always surprised me that this was a woman who would say these words. She just, did this and looked at my chart and just looked and she was, oh yeah, second failed pregnancy, and then just wheeled me back out. And the first miscarriage, I grieved my baby. The second miscarriage, it was partially that, and then it was this whole new, like, I gotta step back and take a look at all this, like, what is going on? And the second miscarriage, I didn't pass the feed, like, I wanted to do it naturally or whatever, but at home, and wouldn't pass. I took, I think, 3 rounds of the misoprostol, nothing. I mean, I think I just did not want to let go. And so I ended up having a DNC, which I absolutely hated. I mean, I would have, even though the first miscarriage was intense agony, I would rather have had that than what the DNC felt like to me. Because when I birthed my first, I physically went through a transformation or a transition or something where I was more able to know and accept and be present to what was going on. It absolutely gutted me that when I went in for my DNC, I was just put to sleep, and then I woke up and the baby was no longer there, and I didn't know where they took the baby. I didn't know, like, it just felt so, I'm still not okay with it. Like, I'm just not okay with how that went down. But after my second miscarriage, I then realized, okay, this wasn't just like miscarriages happen thing for us. And that really threw me into a journey of, okay, well, who am I now? And what are we going to do? and then a huge wave of rage. I mean, just rage that we weren't talking about this, that I couldn't find more information, that I wanted to talk about. I wanted people to know about these beings that had been a part of me. I wanted the whole world to know. When people said to me, like, how are you? Somebody at the grocery store or something, how are you? I wanted to say, not great. Like, I'm actually really, really, really doing poorly today. But, there was just such a hush around it. And it made me so mad that when I finally said that we'd had 2 miscarriages or something, how many women would say, oh, me too, or this. And while it was nice to hear that, at the same time, I was like, well, why didn't I get to hear this before? And so it threw me into a lot of rage.